Mason, say hiya.
Alright, well, we'll work on it. Welcome to part 1 of the video series on how to fight bigger, stronger, and taller opponents. Look, huge people can be dangerous because of their size, but in the vast majority of cases, they're just as easy to beat as any other untrained or unskilled fighter if you know what you're doing. So in this 4-part video series, I'm going to give you an advanced fighting strategy designed specifically to help you beat the crap out of any huge people who might want to fight you easily. Or any small people for that matter.
Beatdowns for everyone.
So the next time some huge animal snatches your beer and the fight's breaking out, instead of soiling yourself, getting bitch slapped, and then crying on a park bench somewhere, you will be prepared to bust some ginormous heads. So let's get started. Meet my assistant in this venture, my good friend, Shovelhead.
This is my boy Shovelhead. And Shovelhead's probably bigger than you.
And that's because Shovelhead's pretty much bigger than everybody, unless you play offensive line for the 49ers or something. Now the problem with fighting somebody bigger than you is that usually they're stronger than you and they're almost always longer than you from a standpoint of range. So if Shovelhead was to extend his fist, you can clearly see how I can't even get close to hitting him, let alone his body or anything else. And that's a problem. That means he can hit me from a range or I can't hit him. And if I don't get close, I'm gonna get the crap knocked out of me until I do. Now before you try closing distance on the guy so that you can knock him unconscious or take him down so you can hit him with a joint lock or a choke, you have to stay safe. Look, in the worst case scenario, a huge charging opponent ripping big powerful strikes can really hurt you and you might have to weather that storm before you can move to the next step in the strategy. To deal with this, we're going to combine some long range weapons with elusive tactics, where we basically scamper around like a frightened little rabbit and try really hard to not get hurt. So let's look at the value of elusive tactics alone. I'm gonna throw a set of gloves on Shovelhead and I'm gonna have him try to knock me unconscious, and all I'm allowed to do is run away and try to avoid damage. Let's get some unnecessarily epic music up in here. Are you prepared, sir? Okay, here we go. Oh God! God, he's fast.
That front kick was definitely cheating. Now remember, this is just a drill.
Now you don't need to be able to run around and dodge punches like this, but it helps if you practice this type of footwork for the moments where you might need it. Now, this right here is a much more realistic fight pace.
So here you can see a fight between a big guy and a little sprightly fellow who very intelligently keeps his distance. Look, the fight pace isn't always aggressive, so you just stay safe till the right moment, then slip boom, and boom again as the huge guy's head spikes off the pavement.
Then of course you get to stroll away like a gangster in your pink boat shoes and capri pants. And nobody's gonna say about it. Now that's not crazy fast or complicated footwork, that's just a guy being mindful of keeping his distance until the right moment. Now look, if your opponent does charge like Shovelhead, by adding in the long range attacks that I'm about to show you, you can settle the pace of the fight right back down.
But first, watch Shovelhead try to sucker punch me at the start of a round.
And go. Sneaky Shovelhead.
All right, let's look at some long range attacks.
Now previously I illustrated how much longer Shovel's reach is than mine. But at the end of the day, boom, I can still front kick him from about 1.5 feet further away. Let me actually see how much further away. Bam! I'm like 2 feet away from his fist. Bam!
Okay, let's freeze here with me trying to look tough, I guess.
You can see that I'm able to kick Shovelhead directly in the stomach, whereas his fist is still about 2 feet away from my face. Ha! What do you think about that, you jackass?
You see what I did there? I put the thing on his head.
Anyhow.
So even if you're the smaller guy in a fight, you can still have the longest weapon if you build your front kick. Now, can the other guy kick you? Of course, but 99.9% of people have no idea how to throw a front kick correctly. So if you work on this, you can establish your range, you can establish the distancing, and you can calm the pace of the fight.
And I'll prove it.
So we're gonna do the same drill again where Shovelhead tries to kill me, but this time I'm gonna add about 30 front kicks to the mix with maybe a roundhouse and a knee to spice things up a bit. And watch what happens, even though he knows that this is the attack that is coming.
You ready? Yep. Go.
Now, you see what's happened here? All of a sudden, we have a fair game of distancing.
So we've gone from scampering like a maniac to a period of reasonably calm control just by showing our opponent that we can hurt him at distance. Let's take a closer look. As you're running away and you're dropping front kicks on somebody who wants to hit you, they tend to get frustrated. You'll see the shovelhead starts to overextend himself as he reaches longer to hit me, and bam, that's when you can drop a power strike on the guy and ideally do some damage. Now, of course, nobody's guaranteed to fall, so you can continue to either show front kicks or drop front kicks, maybe throw a knee. This could be a takedown right here, and eventually the pace of the fight will slow. Look, after a while, your opponent's going to be afraid of getting kicked. No one can take an endless supply of strikes to the stomach, so his charge will stop. And from this period of calm, you can start to execute your strategy. Now, from this point of safety, you have a much better chance of executing your game plan and destroying this huge bastard with all the savage techniques that I have set aside for you, where we close distance and knock people unconscious, or more intelligently take them down, choke them into sleep, break their arms, that kind of thing. But first, you have to build a brutal front kick that will really, really hurt people, and that's what we're going to talk about in video number 2. So I'll give you all the little tricks and adjustments in the technique that will make this kick ridiculously powerful and long. I'll teach you what part of your foot you're supposed to use and where to kick your opponent so you can end the fight in one single kick. And if you're lucky, I'll even give you a workout that'll help you build this particular weapon. And the rest of the free course is even more savage. However, you have to go to howtofightnow.com/how to fight a larger opponent in order to get it. There's also a link in the video description box. So if you're already on howtofightnow.com, well, you don't have to do anything because you're already there. But if you're watching this on YouTube, you can click this link right here or whatever other link pops up. Go to the website, grab the course. Hey, it's free. But before you go, click the like button because it makes me feel good about myself. So, there's that. And post this on the Facebook wall of one of your huge friends to let them know you're coming for them. And otherwise, I'll see you on the other side. Hiya!